was that there was no wall division between where the singers waited and where you actually sang the audition. There was a curtain, but you could hear the audition like it was, you were in the same room.
Wow.
So when you started, and very often auditions were at the Hotel Wellington, and so I remember my first couple of auditions, and I was very green, and I remember going in and sitting in that front room with Grace, with the moderator, and of course all the singers are sitting around, and everybody's sitting there like this, staring at each other, like, okay.
Are you better than me?
Are you
Maybe
better
not.
than me, and what are you singing? And are you singing what I'm singing?
Yes.
And are you skinnier than I am?
Ah, dreadful.
And do you study with a better teacher than I studied with? And who are you? Right? But nobody can talk because you can't make noise, because, right?
Oh, she would come out and tell you to be quiet.
And
if you did.
The first couple of auditions that I actually went, I didn't even make it to the audition. I sat there for about 10 minutes and said, I'm going home.
Wow, really?
I'm going home. I can't do it. I can't even face it. And I would leave.
And that's sort of the whole career too. It is about the armor, you know, and being soft on the inside, but if you can't put up with the crap.
I didn't have any coping mechanisms for how to sit for like half an hour, listen to most of my arias being sung, in my opinion better than I could do it, and then have to go in there and know that everybody else was listening on the other side of the curtain, having exactly the same feelings that I had. You know, oh God, it was awful. So who's up first?
Well, why don't we decide, then there you don't have to go, am I next, okay? And I usually decide for you.
Please do.
Alrighty then, I shall. Let's see, have to think who's got the cojones to start.
You know, I'm really not mean. I'm not mean, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about that anyway.
All right, and I will introduce to all of you Miss Joanna Levy, who we love and adore just so very, very much, who is moving to Sarasota, well, has moved to Sarasota with Larry, her partner in crime over there, and he's going to be videotaping you, so you better be really good. This goes straight to the TV station in New York City. It's not talking, except that she is at the Hart School of Music, but it's not called that exactly. It's always something other than what it is exactly. But she's
No, you got that right.
Hey, I know.
I am there for one more year, and then I will be moving down here. We are a conservatory up there. We have a big voice department. Before that, I've been in, unfortunately, many places. I did sing for quite a few years, and mezzo-soprano. After many years of traveling, and I was a character mezzo, which has its charm, but not its glamour. So after spending many years on the road, getting hairy warts put on my face, and and hair put on my chin, I realized that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life doing that, staying in hotel rooms all over the country. And so I went to my teacher at that time, who was Marlene Mollis, who was a great teacher in New York. And she said to me, "You look unhappy. What's wrong?" And I was in the middle of a career, so there was no reason, in her opinion, for me to be unhappy. And I said I wasn't sure I wanted to continue doing this. And so she said, "Well, what would you like?" And I have no idea how this came out of my mouth, but I said, "I don't know, I might like to teach." I said actually two things, but one of the things I said is I'd like to teach. And she said to me, "Oh, okay, well, I'll send you a few students. They don't have any voices, so you can't ruin them anyway." Oh, nice. And the next couple of days, in a couple of days, I started teaching. And after the second lesson, she sent me all mezzos, which is good because I didn't know anything about any other voice at that time. And by the second lesson that I taught, I felt like I had come home. I felt like a fish that had discovered water. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I made the decision to continue finishing out my singing contracts. I had about two more years left of contracts. And I said to my manager, I will fulfill these contracts, but I don't want to do any more. And I'm going to open up a studio. And everybody looked at me like I was totally out of my mind. And actually, in retrospect, I was. But that's what I did. And I was very, very fortunate because the studio took off like wildfire. And very short time. It was full of professional singers, and I got hired at Boston University, and I got hired at the Academy of Vocal Arts, and I got hired at State University of New York, and I was courted at IU, and my story is somewhat unique because most people don't have that kind of luck, and so. When the Hart School came up as an option, it was commutable to New York, being in Connecticut. And I had the idea that I could possibly take on the chair of being the Hart School and still keep my New York studio, which I did for a couple of years and kept BU at the same time. And for a couple of years, I was in 3 cities every week, flying around and finally, we decided that quality of life was a little more important than that. And so now I'm at the Hart School pretty exclusively, and looking forward to retirement in a year and coming down to Sarasota and sitting at my pool.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a real change. But in the meantime, I still love doing master classes, and I love hearing singers and stepping in with whatever pieces of information I have that can sort of give them some stuff to feed on. Now remember that there is no trick to great singing. Great singing is a combination of a lot of things. And nothing that I say is going to be the switch that makes you a great singer. But there might be something I say in a way that is different than what your teacher has said, or any teacher that you know has said. Or it might be something I say that gives you a perspective that opens up a whole world that you didn't have before. Or I could say absolutely nothing useful, at which point it won't matter, except that you had good food and you spent the afternoon, okay? So the way we're gonna start is, I'm gonna ask you to sing the piece for me.
Joanna?
And now, in a piece like Toponete, I might ask you to stop in the middle because it's very long. And I'm also gonna ask all of you to tell me what the age of your larynx is.
Just as a point to them, you might want to mention, in terms of your resolve to teach and you're doing your contracts, who your representative was and what temptation came along at that moment in terms of a job offer.
I was Columbia Artists, which at that time was the big management company in New York. And Marlena, my teacher, when I said I was unhappy, she said, well, what do you want? Actually, what she said to me is, what do you want, Bubala? And I said, well, I don't want to travel anymore. I didn't like the travel anymore. She said, well, what would you like? I said, well, I either want to teach, or she said, or you want to sing in New York. And I had sung at City Opera, but City Opera was not all year round. I mean, you couldn't make enough money at City Opera to just be in city opera.
Even if it had been all year long.
Especially when you were a character mezzo, you know.
Sorry.
So she actually left the room at that particular moment of my lesson, and she came back and she said, okay, you have an audition for James Levine on Thursday, and you have a couple of students to teach, and decide what you want to do. And I said, huh? Well, she was very good friends with Maestro Levine, and she called up and called in a few favors. And before I knew it, I was singing the stage audition at the Met,
Oh my God.
not having a clue that it mattered. It was just like, oh, whatever. And between my stage audition at the Met, which was on Thursday, and then I taught these lessons on Saturday. And Saturday again was when I found out how much I love teaching and how centering it just felt so right. And that week I got a phone call from the Met to come in and cover a role at the Met. And I realized that it was like being in a bad love affair. When you're in a bad relationship, you say, no, this isn't good for me, and then you have a good date, and you come home and you say, oh, it's not so bad, I'll stay with it. and I realized that it was another seduction. And so I turned them down.
Wow.
I turned them down and devoted myself to my studio, which is something that I've never, ever regretted. One of the wonderful things about my teaching has been that I've worked with many young singers who have gone on to careers at the Met. So I have really interacted at the Met quite a bit, but not as a singer, as a teacher. And actually it's much more fun to do it as a teacher than as a singer. You get a lot more respect. And it gives me great pleasure to see my students do better than I could ever have done. I mean, I was an okay singer, I was good, but I was never great. And I never would have been. Great is not something you can become. Great is something that the throat is or isn't. And I wasn't. But I've gotten a chance to work with some voices that are, and it is thrilling. Also, as a teacher, you get to explore all the repertoire, not just your own little narrow niche, you know, but the great soprano repertoire, and the great baritone repertoire, and the great tenor repertoire. And if you love music, it's very energizing to do that. When you are working on your own career, it's usually very limited in whatever it is you're doing. And you can become an expert at that, but you don't necessarily know much about anything else. And it's been a great life for me to get to know the different repertoire and all of that. That being said, Dopo Notte happens to be one of my favorite arias. It's a mezzo aria.
And I'm
You know, so what can I say? What a great thing to start with.
That's amazing.
Okay, now, how
40.
old are you?
40.
How old is your larynx?
40.
Okay, the larynx is 40 years old. The reason why you ask about something like that is because the cartilages in your neck and around your larynx mature late in life. And so you can be fully grown up and still not have everything here set. Okay? So it's very good to know the age of the instrument that you're dealing with, just like you want to know the age of Stradivarius or a piano. It's the same kind of thing. So now I know.
You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you sing through quite a bit. I'm gonna poke you and prod you.
Great.
As you do it, and many of the pokes and prods will be in very strange places, and ignore me.
Okay.
Pretend I'm not there.
Find my inner aria. Got it. Okay.
I'm gonna lean against the piano because I'm not as steady in my fingers as I should.
That's not an easy thing to do.
First of all, let's go with the obvious. The voice moves very well. It's beautiful. It has substance and size. The thing that I think it needs is a little bit more focus. This particular piece and many of the handles need a lot of balance to get through.
Yes.
You're using your air well, but the way that you're focusing it is not necessarily high enough.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go with, I'd like you to do something for me. Do a raspberry. You know what a raspberry? Right.
Uh-huh.
Now let's start dopo notte on the raspberry.
Okay. Oh, shoot.
Right, then your job
Yeah, that's
is
really hard.
to keep that buzz
Okay.
and keep the air steady.
Okay.
You're gonna find you're gonna have to use a lot more energy in your body.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
But without putting it in my neck. Okay.
It's not gonna go in your nose.
Oh, I need more air. It's like I gotta use more air. Faster
Exactly
air.
right. Do it
Okay.
again. It'll take you a while to find.
Ah. Oh, that's really high. Yeah, it's going up here. The air is going up here.
Okay. Now, I want you to do it again. It might take you 10 tries.
And it's interesting because it feels like this is going in this way more.
All right?
Okay.
And your job is to feel where that vibration is.
Okay.
And
Okay.
stay in that vibratory place. Let the place guide you.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, what are you finding? What battles are you fighting to do that?
Placement.
Tell me about that.
Well,
That's
okay,
exactly
so-
what we're talking about.
Yeah. So the before when I do it just flings out, no problem. But with the raspberry, it feels like it's down too far. And so with the raspberry, I have to get everything on top. And this, actually, my breath mechanism has to narrow out more. Which
Exactly.
is weird.
Exactly.
But that's really what it feels like. It feels
Exactly.
like it's
So
narrow.
what we're talking about
Okay.
is focus.
Okay.
Okay? So basically, all singers have resonators right here. In other words, your vocal cords are down here. When you send air through your vocal cords, they make a very tiny little unattractive squeak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Nobody's sound all that different from anybody else's. But it's where that squeak goes and on what kind of breath pressure you can get to send that squeak into resonances that create your sound. Okay, so when I said to you, it's a beautiful sound, and all the notes are coming out, but it doesn't have the bullet, the focus. So if you were standing on a stage with 3,000 people in front of you, and you had an orchestra, right? And you know you can't scream through an orchestra because they make more noise than you do no matter what you do. How do you get your sound up and over them? Well, you practice the acoustical illusion. You get your voice focused into these hollow resonating chambers. And these resonating chambers are right here in what the old teachers called the mask. Now, how do you find the mask? Now, you talk to different teachers and they'll talk to you about singing forward. They'll talk about singing backward. They'll talk about singing down, they'll talk about singing up. I don't care what you say, all right? It's very easy to find your resonators because there's no place else for the air to go. Do a raspberry. Now, do you feel that buzz? Make a sound. Do a raspberry, make a sound. Right. Where do you feel your buzz? Right. Where do you feel your buzz? Okay. Some people feel it up here. Some people feel it here. Some people feel it here.
I feel it here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll show you this huge resonator.
Yeah, I feel it right here. Yeah.
Okay, now you're gonna hate this. Oh, you're gonna hate this.
Okay.
We're gonna do go note again, and you're gonna do it on the raspberry.
Okay.
Your job is to find the buzz and stay there.
Okay.
In other words, you can't let it fall down out of it,
Okay.
or back out of it, or forward out of it, or up out of
And
it.
it's okay if I take extra breaths.
Oh, take a breath at a
Okay.
time, I don't care.
Okay.
Now, sing it right there.
Okay.
All right.
Same skinny, same
Don't
thing.
let your ear change it for you. Don't
Yep.
tune it. Don't decide that it sounds like terrible. Just put
Just do it.
right where the buzz was and just do it.
Her mouth was more narrow too through all of it.
And what was the difference for you?
I have to use, I need more air is the thing that I need to work on.
Right, and
I'm used to just being able to hunker down and it comes out. You know what I mean? This one I have to work at more. Like I actually have to work more.
is that good or bad though?
I think it just is, right?
No,
I mean,
you
that's good.
could
Right?
say, well, I don't know, I don't want to work more. And what's the benefit?
It doesn't feel I don't feel like I'm slogging through quicksand in a mid voice.
Exactly.
This is old stuff that I'm trying to bring back in, and it's just that old stuff just keeps.
Exactly. You
Ugh.
see, what happens is
Yeah.
when you get, that's known as singing on your breath.
Yeah.
When you get into your resonance and a well-placed voice pulls the air it needs. Okay? It's like a magnet.
Yes, suck in the air like crazy.
It pulls your air. Alright? So your job is to make sure your air is available, but that's all you have to do. Alright? And it pulls and stays here. So when you're doing something especially like this, which has a lot of fiatura,
Yes.
even though you're moving up and down and you're going all over the place, your throat stays in the same position and your larynx changes the pitch and your focus doesn't change. So when you go, ba-da-da-da.
Yeah, that was way easier.
Ba-da-da. It isn't like walking through like, okay, what do I do with this note?
Yeah.
And where do I put this note? And what do I do through my middle voice? It takes care of itself. Because the larynx takes care of all that adjustment
Yeah.
all by itself, and you just stay in your resonance. You know, and it's so simple that it's almost ridiculous.
Yeah, it feels like the way when I'm slogging through quicksand, it felt like I was using my back breath more, and this I'm using more of this. That's just to keep it up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, again, what it is you're not thinking about using this.
No, I'm thinking about just keeping it going in the place.
Exactly. What you're
Yeah.
thinking about is where the
Keeping it
focus
there.
is.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and the body is doing its job. So now, do it again.
Okay.
Stay in your focus, and no matter what happens, no matter where this piece takes you, up, down, in, out, stay in the raspberry spot,
Okay.
okay? Don't let your ear tell you it sounds terrible,
Okay.
all right? And just stay with the beam. It's like being
Okay.
on a beam and
Okay.
staying there.
Okay. That was good. Now, when you head up, right? She heads up to a high note. Not really that high, but higher than the rest of the piece. And in her psyche, it says, her psyche says, it's a high note. You need something. I don't know what it needs, but it needs something. Right? So most of the time when a singer gets to a note that's like out of their comfort zone, they decide to drop their jaw. Did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness gracious!
And in order, not dramatically, not horribly, not like, but to make space, because something in their brain is saying, I need to put this note someplace else, okay? Now, there are always two ways to make space, and you're right in your instinct, all right? One way is to drop your chin, which is the way Americans usually make space. Do that. Okay, now if you do that, and then you take air in through your mouth, you're gonna feel a cold air making a shape in your mouth. You feel that shape behind you, all the way at the back of your mouth? Okay, now, swallow. Now I want you to open your mouth by cranking open in front of your ears, as if you had cranks here, and you were opening, like yawning up.
Mm-hmm.
Now take cool air in through that opening. And how is the opening different?
It's just unhinged here, and there's more space going up.
Oh, no kidding! So guess what that
It's
note
like when I
means? That note means that. So when you're looking for more space, you don't look for space by dropping your jaw. You look for space by lifting your hinge.
Okay.
All right? And at the same time that you're looking for that space by lifting your hinge, keep your air in the same place. Okay, let's get her into that line.
I'm gonna start at
The fourth, yeah.
Okay? Now, when you went up into that space, okay, you can take your air and you can go up like this, like a big, broad ribbon. That's known as spreading.
No, I don't want to do that. This is
Alright.
the old stuff, yeah.
Or you can go up
No,
like
yeah.
this,
I
alright?
do it.
So I want you to go up like you're going up to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Same space, but you're not filling it all. You're going to go up to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more time.
Better.
Better.
It was taller, narrower,
Right.
corners in, release more.
So now,
it
the
didn't do the honky thing.
stuff I'm asking you to do, is it making singing harder or easier?
Easier.
And why is it making, and explain why that's happening.
Efficiency. My body's more efficient.
Right, exactly, all right. And actually, it's sort of easy. In other
Yes.
words, it's not very complicated. You don't have to think a lot. There aren't like an incredible amount of technical things you've got to balance or think about. It's like, just put it here, keep your body available, make sure you don't spread. And on Italian, it's particularly easy because the vowels are sort of better, than in English. But the point is, it's really not brain science. I think that teachers have a good time making it brain science, but it isn't. It's pretty easy, actually. That was good work. What I've sort of come to after many, many years of teaching is, again, that you can teach anybody how to do it, but you cannot make greatness. You can't teach greatness. Greatness is something that happens, and it's part of a magical thing that occurs that every once in a while a throat comes down the pike and a psyche that comes down the pike that does that. And if you're lucky enough as a teacher to meet greatness along the way, that's fabulous. That's a great privilege. But most of the time, that isn't going to happen. So you try to find ways to make people better at what they do, and sometimes the better gets really good. Really good. And you can have a career with really good. But great is, I've had a few greats, but they're not all that common. And the great ones I have found also, interestingly enough, they sort of get it almost right away. They're sort of like, they've come grad work at the Juilliard. That have just been spectacularly great parts. Unbelievably great parts. And it's just like, you just say, okay, do this, and they go, okay. And they do it, and they never do it wrong again. Now, that happens very rarely, but it does happen. And I did not have that kind of approach. That's what I'm saying about the fact that I was a very good workman-like singer. I could take the information, I could, with enough practice, make a presentable picture. But great, I wasn't. But I've had to work with some greatness, and it's quite special.
All right, now we have Miss Sophia Masterson. Make yourself comfortable up there, honey, anywhere.
I am. What are you? How old is your Larry?
17.
Oh, God.
Oh, to be
That's
said.
fabulous.
This is a song from a musical, so it's very different from that other piece. This piece is called With You from Ghost, the musical, and we're still kind of working on it, so
Great.
we'll see how it. I picked up your shirts this morning. I don't know why. I don't know why. Mr. Reynolds said to say hello. I started to cry. I started to cry. Every place we've ever walked and everywhere we've talked, I miss you. You never leave my mind. So much of you is left behind. You
mind immediately. Again, you're very musical and it's beautiful. Your voice sounds actually quite beautiful as you go to the top. I know you spend a lot of time in the chest at the bottom, but actually your strength is in the mix at the top. Which is great because she's 17, so she's got a way to go. We're going to talk a little bit about vowels, okay? Before, when you were singing, I said in Italian, many of the issues of placement and how you take care of that are handled because the language itself is made up of pure vowels. Now, you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say pure or impure vowels. But let's talk about the English language. The English language is a horrible language.
Yes.
All right? The way that the English language is constructed, the throat has to go through unbelievable paroxysms and switches and knots and changes to pronounce the words. And in singing, we want to limit the amount of movement that our throat has to go through to create words because it really interrupts how the breath moves. The one vowel that we do that is completely unmusical is our oo vowel. All right? Our oo vowel is the worst vowel in the world. Now, the most open-throated vowel to sing in Italian or Latin is which vowel? Guess what? The oo vowel. Okay? So the interesting thing is that your throat, because you're American, and because when you were lying in the crib learning how to speak, you mimicked the speech patterns that you heard around you. You learned how to say the oo vowel the way that all of us in America say oo, which is that all the muscles at the back of your throat curdle in and become like a little knot.
It's true.
Ooh.
Ew.
Ew. Okay? And it feels perfectly
So
forward.
true.
Who? Ooh. 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 Well, you have, anatomically, 128 muscles between ear and ear. And they all have to move in certain very distinct ways to make different vowels. The oo vowel in Italian is made with those muscles in a relaxed, open position. The oo vowel in English with those muscles is made with them in a knot. All right? So when you sing oo, and this particular song
With
is starring the oo vowel, all right? Every time you get to the oo vowel, your gorgeously open throat, because it is a very good open throat, all of a sudden goes, eh. All right? So I'm going to ask you to mimic me. Ready? I'm going to make a sort of pucker of my throat, of my mouth. I'm going to take air in, keep my tongue forward, and feel where that air goes. It's sort of like blowing up a balloon, but I'm taking it in. Feel that air? Do it again. Good. Now do it without lifting your shoulders. Right. Where is that air going?
Like to the back of my throat.
Like to the back of your throat. Yeah. Can I do it again? Right. Now right at the back. Right at the back where you feel that air. Right? I want you to picture an oo vowel. Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Do it again.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Right. Ooh. Now do that in comparison to your normal oo. Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Do your normal oo, like who's going to the zoo with Aunt Lou?
Ooh. 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 Ooh.
my ooh is more open, like, and the other ooh is more like tight, and I feel it like more open in the back.
All right, so the other ooh,
The
let's
back
call the
ooh.
other ooh my ooh.
Okay.
Joanna's ooh is smaller in the front and bigger in the back. Your ooh is bigger in the front and smaller in the back, right? Okay. Where do you think you want your sound, where do you want your sound to be big, in the back or the front?
Sorry.
You want your sound to be big over your windpipe, where your vocal cords are. That's where the sound is. All right? So now, you're going to do the beginning of the song again. And every time you get to an ooh, you're going to do that back ooh, not that front ooh. And you're going to feel very weird. You're going to actually wonder if you're saying an ooh.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be the judge of whether it's an ooh or not. Okay?
Right from very beginning.
Are there oohs in the beginning?
It just go from the first.
How about, you never leave my mind?
Okay. You never leave my mind. So much of you is left.
Wait, there was an ooh there.
I heard it.
They come by really fast. Like you're starting on the ooh.
Mm-hmm. You never leave my mind. So much of you is left behind. You took my days with you. Took my nights with you.
Good. I want you to do that one more time with conviction.
Okay.
Okay? It's like when you find that spot, I call it the honey spot. You know, anywhere it just feels good. It feels full. It feels powerful. Go with it.
Okay.
You sort of look like, no. You look scared. Don't be scared. I will not hurt you in one session, I promise.
You never leave my mind. So much of you is left behind. You took my days with you. Took my nights with you.
What does it feel like?
It feels a lot easier and nicer. Nicer.
All right, tell me about, again, what does nicer feel like?
Like the bad ew, I feel like very closed in, and then this ew, I feel like very open, and I feel like it comes out better, and I have more control over like auto and that kind of stuff.
Exactly right. And it's, again, it's in your line.
And the line after the ooh vowel of you of took my day and took my life are now in alignment, and I understand that text as well. And that's important text.
That's why I very often ask, tell me what it feels like. Not, of course, what it sounds like, because you're never going to know what you sound like. And even when you talk about what something feels like, sometimes people love feeling a tight throat. You know, no, they do. I mean, you know, they actually enjoy it because it's a control thing.
Sense of closeness.
So there is a part of learning how to sing, if you're a student or if you're a teacher, where you have to start finding out what the person's aesthetic is. You know, we're all assuming that when you say to me, oh, that feels good, I'm assuming that your definition of good is the same definition of good that mine is. And it might not be. It might be that when you feel really good, I'd want to die.
There is sadomasochism in the world.
You know what
so.
I mean? Or the other way around. So some of it is, you know, when you say to a singer, okay, what does that feel like? Or what's the trade-off? If I'm asking you to do something differently, or I'm saying to you, think this thought and make this adjustment, and you do it, and it doesn't make any difference to you, then why do it? So there has to be, it has to be a win-win. There has to be that, oh yeah, I as the outside ear am pleased with that result. Now you as the instrument, tell me if it feels better. Tell me if it's worth it. Tell me if it makes it easier. If you like that feeling. And if you do, then you go home and you try to recreate that feeling because it feels good. You know, and you keep going with that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if anybody ever tells you to do something with all of the right intentions, whatever those intentions might be, that doesn't make you feel better, don't do it. You know, don't do it. If you lose your voice, or ruin your voice, or whatever, my life goes on uninterrupted. I bury my mistakes. No voice teacher is going to sit down and say to you, you know, I've taught for 20 years and I've ruined 5 singers. They don't talk about that. We don't talk about the things we don't have success in.
You don't have to be accountable.
So the only person to whom your instrument is irreplaceable is you. All right? The only person whose life is going to change if your instrument gets better is you. Your mother isn't going to have her life significantly altered. Your voice teacher is certainly not going to remember. And so you've got to be the guardian of your own technique, which is just, you know, you've got to be, and at 17, you've got to learn that really early.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, that pleasing your teacher is not your goal, all right? That's one of the reasons why academia is a very difficult place to function, because I grade you, all right? And actually, there's nothing in learning how to be an artist that a grade should have anything to do with.
Mhm.
That's right. You know, you shouldn't have to feel like you're impressing me, right? I can give you an A and you could still go out and not get any job, right? You could not get hired at all. Or I could give you a C and you could go have an international career. So, who am I? You know, and I think that's very important, that you take the information, you empower it. If it works for you, you internalize it, and you go home and make it work. So that's your eval. That's, you know, I don't own it anymore. I give it to you. You know? Next, how old is your
30.
30-year-old larynx? Does anybody know what the size of a larynx is?
Walnut? I don't know. Walnut, I bet it's smaller than walnut. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
a baritone might be a walnut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He might be a walnut, I don't know.
Peach pit.
that's what I think of, like small.
But most females are smaller than a pecan. Have you ever seen a pecan in the shell?
Yeah.
It's sort of like this tiny little thing. So it's right here. It's behind a lot of cartilage, floating in the middle of your neck. Okay? And you are a soprano?
Yes.
Yes, and you have a real pecan in there.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think?
Nana Tesaria.
Oh God, a pecan. Really a little tiny pecan. most difficult soprano arias, deceptively so, because it's such a beautiful melody, but it is a hair raiser. We're going to take this and we're going to talk a little bit about vowels since we started on the vowel. All of the Italian vowels are made in a way that is different from the way we in America or England or Germany or wherever make our vowels. Now, how many of you, and this is a very interesting thing to do, if you put on an Italian movie with native Italian speakers, you know, Italian actors and actresses, whatever, but turn off the sound, and watch their mouths, watch their faces as they speak. Now, we know that Italian is a highly emotional and very active language. But if you watch them speak, they hardly use their lips and their mouth at all. This is very still. It hardly moves. You know, all the puckering and smiling and, you know, and gesturing that we do and chewing and that. The Italian language doesn't have any of that in it. It is purely mellifluous and it's made like a ventriloquist inside. That's why when they learn to speak English, they automatically lie. I am going to the store. They can't imagine I'm going to the store. All of the stops and the starts that we do with our air and the up and the down that we do with our jaw is just not in their body language. So there's a way to speak Italian and sing Italian and take Italian diction and get an A and still not sound like an Italian because you're speaking it like a person who doesn't live in the throat of an Italian, all right? And you have a very good Italian that's very English. So what ends up happening is that Verdi writes a line that goes like this. Da, 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 da. Your throat's going, da, 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 da. Right? Because that's what your line does. That's what your throat does. That's what my throat does. That's what your throat does. Okay. So one of the ways in which we have to learn in singing the language is not only how to pronounce it, but how to actually phonate it. Okay. Now let's start with the very first word. What's your first word?
Sul.
Oh, really? Su.
Yeah.
Su.
Yeah.
All right? Now, if that ooh is in the right place, not in the wrong place, then the rest of your vowels line up in that right place. If you speak to an Italian diction person, they will tell you that ooh is the link in the chain that keeps all of the vowels in line. So if you have the correct ooh, all you've got to do is stay there. Right? So now, find your ooh, which is again, not in the front where the pucker is, not in all of these front American muscles, but in the back, so if you sucked on a straw and you found that little spot all the way in the back of your mouth, all the way back there hiding, right, sort of by your uvula, is an ooh. Ooh. Did you find it? Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Now let go of the head. You don't need this.
Okay.
Ooh. Good. Look at the mirror. See how you're puckering? You don't need it.
Okay. Ooh.
Be like a ventriloquist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There you go. There it is.
Ooh. Ooh.
Now, what's the next vowel?
E. Sophie.
Now, put the E right where the U is.
Sophie. Do again. Do.
Ah.
That's hard. Okay, yeah. Sophie, dun, Sophio, Sio.
Bravo. Now,
There you go, baby.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
now, if I said to you, leave all the consonants out, but find that little honey spot that is your oo spot, and just put all your vowels there. And be like an Italian, where you don't use your lips, and you don't use your jaw, and you don't use your chin, and you can use your hands.
Okay. Speak it.
Yeah,
Okay.
just vowel.
Uyo.
I don't need lips.
Okay.
Uyo.
It's fine. Leave out there.
Okay, now do it again. And it's sort of like you find the yellow brick road. And you stay there. Now, we are used to in English, even though we don't know it is, we're used to one vowel over here, and one vowel over here, and one vowel over here, and one vowel over there. All right? Your job is to find the beam and just stay on the beam. Put all the vowels on the beam.
I don't remember the vowels.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, just
You know, the oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I'm moving these this much, right?
Right. Good. Now, argumentatively, someone would say, if she doesn't know the vowels, she doesn't know the aria. Okay? Because your throat has to know your vowels before you know the words. You know?
Yeah.
Marilla Franey, who was one of the great sopranos of all time, said that she could not sing a role in public until she could sing the entire role through twice in a row on a pianissimo oo.
Wow.
All right? Without her throat closing.
Wow, that's work.
Okay? But, you know, to her, I mean, she was a native born Italian, of course. And to her, that was like, hey, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to, and I put myself in that category as well, you know, one of my most fun things about learning a new role was highlighting it. You know, I loved highlighting it.
Me too.
And then I liked memorizing it. And then I liked, you know, but I never actually took the words and put them in my throat. You know, and actually spent the time getting these muscles to actually acclimate to what they had to learn how to do, which was different from speaking the text.
Yes.
So now I'm going to ask you to do that first, just that first line again, one more time, without the consonants, but sing on the vowel. And find that oo vowel, because that's the vowel that sets up the place.
Okay. Ooh, yeah.
Now from oo,
Yeah.
that's it.
Ooh,
There's a long note in there.
Oh.
Not that, you know,
No.
again, when it comes to notes, I don't
What
really.
is it? What am I not getting down to the?
It's easier. Right. Now, that note, that quote wrong note, is a decision your larynx is making, based on what your ears hear, right? But actually, in what you and I are doing, it has no effect. In other words, because the place that the vowel goes is not relevant to the pitch.
Shouldn't fall because the pitch
Yeah, I
is
mean,
down.
the pitch is here, the vowel is here, the air is here, all right? Motor, vibrator, resonator. And sure, in a perfect world, they work together. But because you might have a leap or a change in pitch, does not change where your vowel is. Your vowel is always on that beam.
Okay.
So can we try that one more time? Bravo! Now, do it
Did I
again.
get the pitch?
Now, you got the pitch.
Okay.
But don't worry about the pitch.
Okay.
Again, if I was grading you, I'd make you worry about the pitch.
Okay.
But right now, don't worry about the pitch.
Okay.
Now, you're gonna do that again.
Okay.
And you're just gonna put the consonants into that line. But the consonants are not gonna screw up when you put your vowel.
Okay.
Just keep the vowel right there. Now, from that ooh, from soul to feel,
Okay.
all right? You're still moving around a lot.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm trying to like jump up to it.
Yada. There you go. It's really much easier
Yeah.
than
Am I
you think
making
it
it?
is.
Okay.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Good.
Anybody hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Excellent.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Go ahead.
Oh, keep going.
Okay, now an argumentative question. I admit it's argumentative. I'm being a prig. Her oval. Crazy all.
It's Chloe. They're close.
Again.
Close.
Now.
Good job.
We make our oval by dropping our jaw and letting our throat go into
Mm-hmm.
O. So if you took our oval and you put it on a graph and you slowed it down so you heard every little phonemic moment of it, it spends a lot of its life saying Oh. Oh. Okay. Italians don't ever go into the
Part of
position.
it.
They don't know. Their throats don't even know how to do
Okay.
Did you ever hear? This is absolutely true. I had
Open right.
a coach who once told me this. Did you ever hear an Italian snore?
I've never slept with one.
All right. Too much information. Well, the truth is, if you hear an American snore, right, Larry, you can attest to it. If you hear an Italian snore, it's
Wow.
because their throats don't know how to go oh. So when they say the O vowel, it comes from not from So we go O, and they go O.
Oh, like Frank, the Jays.
So in the back, behind their their throat, behind their O, their throat is in an O position.
Yeah.
So when you go to Tezio, stay there, exactly.
Okay.
All right, can we get her into that line? 10 minutes ago, you wouldn't have known that it was a no-no.
Right. Okay. So, I'm trying so hard. So,
You don't need that much straw space.
okay,
I know you think you do,
yeah.
but the space that she needs is not here. Guess where it is?
Here.
It's where the vowel lives.
Yeah.
Right? Right there.
Fry.
Yeah.
It's hard.
What happened?
Okay.
So,
Yeah, it fell down to here.
You knew that.
Yeah.
So can you fix it?
I don't feel.
Did you doubt the pitch?
Oh yeah, I
Yes,
think so.
you did.
I think
Yeah, I
I
can feel
think
that.
a little bit, yeah.
Well, do something. Don't
Okay,
just go,
don't just go.
"Duh," is that right?
Again, I'm not grading you.
I know.
Just don't sing a tritone because Verity would not like that.
Okay, fry at that. Yeah.
Good girl, stay there. Stay there. Now you had one vowel that got by you.
Okay.
All right, but you know,
Is it
I don't care. That was great. Now, Joe, let's do the last line. Yeah, da 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 da.
Okay.
Now you understand why I stopped singing.
Yeah. Oh, the last at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Le fa.
Now, know where you want that first note to be.
Le fa. Okay. Le fa deano per ti.
Good, I have a question for you. You're taking some breaths in weird places.
Okay.
E, fjord. And then the fjord is not fjord.
Okay.
It is in English, but in Italian it's got an I in it. Fjord.
Yeah.
Because it has an I. Again, it's an O vowel, and it doesn't have an I. So it's fjord.
Fjord.
Right, so you go for that ah place. Fjord.
Fjord.
Right. Can you do that? Do that again.
Le fa deano per ti.
Gorgeous.
I'm sorry.
We're doing good.
Great
job. Gorgeous.
And I'm Christopher Holloway. I just want to say hi to everybody that I don't know. It's good to see you.
And how old is your walnut?
My walnut is 41, as of about a week and a half ago.
Happy birthday!
Yay!
Happy birthday, Walnut. Where's Walnut?
Walnut, but
It's right here. Here, right. Señor, cada vez que les sonar, oui, les toreros, peuvent s'entendre, pour le plaisir
l'amour, l'amour t'ama. On fait silence, à que se passe à l'île. L'île qui s'élève, l'île qui s'élève, le temps s'élance en morissant les collines. Il s'élance, il l'entre, il frappe, à chevaloule, à traînata picador. À bras d'entendre, hurle la foule, le taureau va, il vient, et flottant se s'épanouir. Avec le fidèle du cours, le ciel est plein de sang. Nos hommes ont franchi les grives. C'est au tour maintenant. Allons, on garde, allons, allons.
I love the look you had at, it was pretty frightening to this close. You know, this brings up something really interesting, and it was sort of coming up for you too, but we're gonna talk about sort of an interesting thing. First of all, I go through the positives very quickly. You're very impressive. And you obviously know what you're doing, and you know how to do what you're doing. Now we're gonna get to something else, which is, and it's a sort of different thing when you're dealing with the lower voices than when you're dealing with what I call the sopranos, or pardon me, the Twitter bitches. High voices have an advantage in that they project usually, no matter what they do. All right, so when you listen to a voice of size and substance, and you're not going to be a person who sings in your living room, you know, usually, a voice of your color and your physique, you're going to be singing in large theaters. If you're singing in something like the Toreador, it's a fairly large orchestra. The lower voices do not naturally project all that well. Even if they're huge, they just don't, as an acoustical normalcy, project all that well. So what ends up happening is you get on the stage, and there are 100 people in front of you in a pit, or maybe not in a pit, playing, and you're singing, and you're standing there and going, oh, I hope they can hear me in the back of the theater. Well, I'm gonna have to work harder because I want to be heard. And that's called the Lombard effect. And it has a name. And it's when you subconsciously press down on your chords to make a bigger sound. Now, the truth is it makes a bigger sound. to you. But it actually does not make a sound that penetrates, because volume is not what cuts. All right? Squealo, or steel, or ugliness on some levels is what counts. And it's very interesting because I have known people who have been on the stage with Mirella Freni. I, of course, was not, our careers never crossed, and if it did, I never would have had the kind of career that would have put me on the stage with Mirella Freni. But people say that when they stood on the stage with her, it was like standing next to a bandsaw. It was the most ugly sound they had ever heard, close up. But far away, it was spectacular, okay? And it seems to me that you're using a lot of your energy to make a really good sound that's going to be right here, all right? And if you got on the stage in a very large place, which is where your voice would deserve to be heard, you would be in a lose-lose.
About 20 feet.
Because in order to get heard over the orchestra, you just have to crank harder. And at a certain point, you
Can't crank anymore.
can't crank anymore. So we're going to talk about putting some ugliness in your sound. Some, what they call, again, squealo. Some steel in your sound. Now, that will not make it sound better in this room. All right, you've been sitting here all afternoon and listening to people sound consistently better, I hope, from doing the things that we're doing. But in this particular situation, that's not what our goal should be. All right? Our goal should be to find the beam that would send his sound up over a cacophony of sound. Okay? So now, if you look at your face, I'm looking at your face, and I'm immediately struck by the amount of resonance space you have up here. All right? I mean, it's huge. Now, if you look at, of course, we don't have any other level. We have Randy, but Randy's a tenor, so it's a sort of different experience. But if you compare you to a lot of other people, you have a very full, deep resonance package. Would you bring my pocketbook over there? And there's a reason I want to show you something. Okay. These resonators that I'm talking about, again, to get off the bel canto mystique, you know, of what you all think worshiping at the bel canto grail is, this is a really dead person. And this dead person has been cut right here,
Yep.
and his jaw's gone, okay? But we have one nostril, and we have his eye place, and we have this resonator up here.
That's
right?
it.
That's what one, it's a round space, and it's called the sphenoidal sinus. Sinuses come in two shapes: turbinates, which are tubes, and sphenoids, which are spheres, round. Okay? Now, this sphenoid is one of the biggest spaces that he would have to resonate in, and this is nothing compared to what you've got. Okay? Absolutely nothing.
And the picture is about that big.
You can take it around.
Yeah. I think mine's about twice that size, I probably. This right here.
Oh, wow.
That's a normal person. I got giant space.
You can hear it, you're speaking.
Well, I need to use it more.
Okay? Now, when you have a beam of sound that goes, here's your vocal cords all the way down here. So they go up and up and up, and they go up here, and then they flood through all these turbinates and garbage, and they go up through these sphenoidals, and by the time that it gets here, all right, you don't even hear it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so far away from your ears.
The inner sensation.
Yeah, you don't hear it at all, all right? And what you're doing is singing for your ear, which, if I had a voice like yours, I'd like to hear myself too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, why not? You know, it's great. But if I was faced with a Straussian orchestra
Mm-hmm.
or a Bizet
Yeah.
orchestra,
Get buried.
and I would probably have a pretty hard time because there's only so much gut you can put in.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to go back, and we're going to do it again. I'm going to go back to the raspberry. Okay? Now the raspberry is really deceptively simple. And to someone who's used to making art, it is ridiculously annoying to go back to something that simple. Wouldn't you say, please? But give me a raspberry. Good.
So from the beginning, or you want to?
No, it doesn't matter, it never changes.
Okay, right.
So go from the beginning, give me a raspberry,
Okay.
and you gotta keep it, whenever you feel that buzz, wherever you feel it, you gotta stay there. And it's gotta stay as intense, which means that the rest of your body is what's in charge of keeping it there. Okay? But you weren't staying in the intensity of that place, right?
It feels like it has tumble.
Oh, no kidding!
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it should feel like.
No shit, Sherlock!
Yeah.
Okay, do it again. Do it again and stay there.
Never could tumble in elementary school.
And the second time was much better than the first. Now the third time he's going to do it, and your job is to keep it in that same, what you would call the tumble place, when you go down.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay? Say what?
So you want to do raspberry again?
This aria is the same anyways.
Yeah, raspberry again.
Raspberry.
Okay.
To sing it. Tumble. Oh yeah!
Right? Seriously.
Thank God I run.
Yeah.
Or I would not be able to do this. It's cool.
Now, when you think about it, what did you just do that took so much energy? I mean, really, what did you just do? Were you hauling rocks? Were you digging ditches?
No.
Were you, I mean...
No, just send in there, that's all.
Now, your job, find where that is, keep your voice there, and it stays there, darn it.
Señor, señor, car avec les soldats. Oui, les toreros peuvent s'entendre. Pour plaisir, ils ont les quoi. Le cirque est plein ces jours de fête. Le cirque est plein d'Iodoma. Les spectateurs perdent la tête.
Stay there. when you went up, the voice didn't beat. All right? Before, when you went up, it was still impressive. How can I tell you you're not impressive? But when you went up before, there was a,
Yeah.
okay? And if you had to put more pressure on the voice because there was a big orchestra in front of you, that beat would get even
Slower.
beatier.
Mhm.
Okay? So now let's do the second verse to the end. All right? Now again, your job is again to stay in that beat. Now, you're still not ugly enough, believe it or not.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
But that's a good start.
We're getting to ugly.
You get it? Well,
That's good. No, I'm teasing.
you know, really, I use the term ugly just because I want to be confrontative.
Yeah.
But you couldn't be ugly if you really tried to be ugly. But you need to be edgy. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Edgy.
Yeah. Now, you said this is now.
Snarly.
Yeah. So it needs to be hooked more in. Yeah, especially when in the descending passages.
And again, it's sort of like when you get it right, you trade in the aesthetic of feeling that your voice is beautiful for feeling like your voice is powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it really is a difference. In other words, there is a kind of singing that is beautiful, you know, absolutely beautiful. And you can put the microphone right here. And the sound person can go like this and go like this and tune it, and it's beautiful. But opera singing is not supposed to be beautiful. It does turn out beautiful if you're in the audience, but it's supposed to be majestic. It's supposed to be powerful. It's supposed to be nail you to the wall stuff.
Like a hatchet.
You know? And that's what we get paid to deliver.
Yep.
You know, I mean, Renee Fleming, talking about Ain't It a Pretty Night. She sings the most beautiful, well, she did sing the most beautiful Ain't It a Pretty Night. With such a razor in her sound that you could, like, drive a truck through it. You know? So that's what I'm asking you to do. Your voice is going to be beautiful because it really is a beautiful sound. But you don't try for the beauty.
Right.
That's not your job. Okay?
Yeah.
Second verse, in the raspberry position. I don't care if you're raspberry or not.
Okay.
But I do care that as you go down, you stay here.
You want to, is it going too far, Peter?
No.
Backwards, or just stopping?
No, it's just,
Yeah.
just schwach. What I call
Yeah,
schwach.
schwach.
Lazy.
Yeah.
Schwach.
Yeah.
Schwach.
fessi lasse, a questo passo a dire. Le cristalles pas, le cristalles pas, le toro se lo solito morir. Il selos, il l'altri flamme, a chevalure, a tremata di parole.
Can you stay in that place?
I didn't prepare the breath enough for
Which
that.
is here.
Yeah.
Place doesn't change.
I'll prepare that breath a little better this next
Go
time.
right ahead.
Le toro il via, e framato, se commence par rire, d'un filer du cours, sur les pleins de sang, oh, ce soir.
Hello. Ah.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, and this is really interesting, greatness pays, and shape pays. But greatness and shape do not pay together.
Yes.
So if you hit the mark, and then you come off, the audience gets annoyed. All right? So if you're not going to be on the mark, don't go there. And if you're going to be on the mark, don't leave.
Let's say that bright,
That
my
is
bright
so true. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
We've all heard terrible singers who have wonderful careers. And we've all heard great singers that have great careers.
And it's often
But
the
a
hard.
great singer that has a bad night,
Forget about it.
Yeah. And it's often the hardest I hear and find coming down from the top down. Oh.
because you're letting your throat
Yeah.
respond to the pitch change. And your pitch throat has nothing to do with pitch.
Relax.
Yeah.
Go.
That's right.
I don't care. Very good. Do it again. That was right. Okay? I have to be a real prig. I'm going to be a prig. That was not right. The place was right, but it became
And stayed in one place, uninterested.
Yeah.
Remember, vowels like to spread. They're like fat ladies who take their girdle off. All right? They like to go like this.
Yeah.
So when you take a breath, unless you keep your throat, and singing is sort of an oval horizontal experience, not a vertical, not a horizontal experience. So if you go
Yeah.
go.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's just an unusual thing. When I think right, I think this way instead of this way and then that way. Or
Oh my gosh.
vertical. It's vertical. It's not random.
No.
And so whenever I think I have to, that it can't go this way, I overshape sometimes. So then I don't shape at all, and then I just make that mistake. But
So do it again.
Yeah.
It's really easier.
Oh yeah, no, it's much easier. Yeah. And for me, that feels like I'm overshaping, but I know clearly I'm not.
Are you sure that
It was a little something.
Hey!
I got right here.
Whose throat is it?
Mine.
Okay.
I own it. Okay, here you say. L'amour, l'amour tata, toreador, That's what we're working on. Is
Man, you've gotten it too. Yay.
Very good.
33.
Okay, great. Oh, God, well, all of her arias. There you go. They're just, they're awesome people. Okay, good for bringing it out. Good for you. A couple of things.
Yes.
The first thing that comes to my mind that I think everybody in the room can sort of get right away is that you might want to look and circle your vowels.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because they really, they really come.
Yeah.
Right. But that's easy. Right? The next thing is that, you know, there's nothing in there. The treble voice, which of course is what you have, does have a certain sort of upper extension to it, where when you get to a certain point, the voice says to you, something's got to give. All right? Now, usually it's like, I need more space, or I need to modify my vowel. I need to do something. So all of the stuff that we talk about today about stay in the same place and be on the beam and don't futz around, you know. At a certain point, a soprano, especially a soprano that has to sing an extended range, would have every right to say to me, you know what you're talking about. And it is that trips up a lot of sopranos, because they think that because they need more space up at the top, and you do, I mean, your instinct is right. Again, the way to find that space is not only to make more space in the front of your mouth, but also to, when you make space in the front of your mouth, you close off the back of your mouth. Think of your jaw as a seesaw. And when you open the front, what you're looking for is a way to open that gives you more space in the back, which is where the pitch comes from, rather than less space. Okay? So, again, do me a favor.
Yep.
Drop your jaw. Yeah, that's perfect. And just in that position, and everybody again should do this, just, you know, take air in, keep your mouth, keep your tongue forward. All right, now that cool air going into your mouth should define for you the shape of a space in the back of your mouth.
Yep.
What kind of a space shape do you feel?
There's like none.
Yeah. Now, you're gonna do it as if you were yawning up to the sky. So right here where your mandible is, which is where your jawbone is, you're opening from here. Now, can you physically do that? No. You can't open the top of your head. All right? It's an illusion. Go ahead. Stay there and take space in through your mouth. Take air in through your mouth. What kind of space do you feel?
Definitely all open now.
Much bigger,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it has to do with the way that you maneuver to make that space. Okay? Now, at the same time that you're opening to make more space for the top notes, you've got to also know that your air has to find that space that you are creating. aria.
Okay.
And when you head, as you're heading up, you're gonna open from here instead of
Okay.
from here. And as you open from here, you're gonna send your air up and back.
Okay.
As if it's gonna go towards your cowlick.
Okay.
You know where your cowlick would be?
Yep.
Okay. And you're not gonna modify your vowels to make the space.
Okay.
You know,
Just whatever, just saying.
you're just gonna sing.
Okay.
Sing the English, as it is.
Okay. Dearest Mama, I am writing, for I'm distressed. I am staying here in Levy without hurry by myself. Everything is overnight with us. He has left behind its better that way too. I
Where's the
never.
new? Wait, there's another place. I admit it's not the most important new in the world.
No, but yeah.
But when the
Except
voice is
Keeps
doing
it in
it right,
mind.
and all of a sudden, you get a knurtle.
Yeah.
Jumps out.
Okay.
It is better.
Okay.
And it is better than,
Yeah.
It's like the second hit fall
Sorry.
right there.
find a place, I don't know where you start.
It is wrong for us. Sorry, I'm singing along.
It's right in the middle of the second page there.
He has left me, and it's better that way too.
It's like the
He has left me, and it's better that way too. I never loved him. We weren't suited.
Alright, there's a new.
Even more smaller? I thought that.
Su. So, oh,
Just
go in the
do-
back.
just do.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, oh. In the back,
Okay.
where an Italian would make it.
Okay.
You are right there.
I never loved him. We weren't suited.
Now, somewhere, I know that some diction person, it might even be Cal, I don't know who it was,
What are you hearing?
said you should put an E in there.
Yes.
See
I won't say who.
See you. Forget it.
Okay.
First of all, I'll tell you why. This is my opinion.
Okay. It's recorded a lot that way.
This is an American opera,
Okay.
and we do not go Sioux.
Okay.
The British go Sioux.
Okay.
We go Stowe.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Leave the E out.
Okay. Okay.
Leave the U.
Okay.
Leave the E out.
All right.
And also, again, the E
Yeah.
destroys your ooh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I never loved him. We weren't suited. When two people feel that way, they shouldn't stay together. Mama dear, you often told me that I was beautiful, and that my beauty deserved to find on my
Good job. That was good. Some people change the words there.
Okay.
All right. Instead of someday a man so rich,
Okay.
because they want to go up
Mm.
on more of an op.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So try that.
So I would do.
Would it be deserved to find someday a man
Yes.
so rich?
Someday a man so rich.
Okay.
Montague?
Okay. Mama dear, you often told me that I was beautiful, and that my beauty deserved to find someday a
Now, do it again. I don't care if you stick with it.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I just didn't do it right.
But don't go wide.
Right, I know, I do.
Okay?
Yeah.
And again, open from the top.
Ah.
Okay? And I don't care if you change the words or not. In my
Okay.
experience, a lot of people have chosen to because they find it easier. If
Okay.
you don't find it easier, don't do it.
Okay. Ah, dear, you often told me that I was beautiful, but that my beauty deserved to fly. Someday I'll be French, a man so powerful that he would give me anything you
Right there.
Yeah.
It goes up into the up space, not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Pac-Man.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
That's a very good image.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to try to give me anything. That he could give me anything like a princess. In all these.
Okay, guess what? You don't need as much space.
I know, I'm like.
You're starting.
Yeah.
Now, what is that first note?
What is it?
What is the pitch? What is it?
C. C.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's not high,
No, it's not that.
right?
Yeah.
So, what do you need? Here.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
How about starting neutral
Okay.
and then using your space as you need it, rather than
Okay.
using it in anticipation?
Okay. Yes. Okay.
In the olden days.
In olden days.
Good, now, let's examine that.
Yeah.
Remember, as you go up, narrow, and if you want the top note to be a little fuller, you can go a little wider. But up is
Yeah.
like an hourglass.
Okay. Okay.
That's the shape of an up, not
Right.
this.
Okay. My mouth is so wide. Okay. In olden days. That was good. It feels weird. It didn't feel right. I could be better.
So do it again.
In olden days. And so I waited, hoping someday he would come.
Now, I'm going to do something that's really cruel.
Okay.
You ready? You got a pencil?
Yes.
Good. It's your own pencil, right?
Yes.
I want you to bite on it.
Okay.
Good. All the way back.
Okay.
All right? Sing me that lick while biting on the pencil.
Which lip?
Ah!
Okay.
Again.
Holy shit. No. I don't know how it happened the first time. Honestly. Yeah. Okay.
Don't think about it. Just do it.
I don't know.
Just do it. You're thinking. Okay. Okay. Now, you notice that your larynx had all of those pitches.
Yeah.
Did you have any mouth space at all?
No.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
So now, you're just going to give yourself a little bit
Okay.
when you need it. So you're going to start on neutral. And you're going to open as you go up.
Okay.
But you're not going to open because you need it.
Right.
You're going to open because you open as you go up.
Okay.
But you don't need it.
Right.
Okay, now, if I were you, I would get up every morning.
Yeah.
And do that lick.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll be great,
Yeah.
and sometimes it'll be terrible. Right? But don't compromise,
Okay.
because you have a trigger.
Yeah.
You have a trigger to, oh, I have to do something.
Right.
And it's complicated. And I don't know what the complications are, but I'll get Joanna's complications, and then I'll get Carol's complications, then I'll get Randy's complications, and then I'll get her complications, and actually, Lawrence knows exactly what to do.
Right.
And when you were the heck out of the way, if you were the best, long before the first time,
Right.
when you didn't know what you were doing,
Yeah.
you did it the best.
Yeah.
So,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
Is it, okay, and it may be like completely not relative, but so this is a C. I sing all day long, C's, right? C's and D's are like no problem.
That's not a problem.
So I can sing every other one of the arias with the C's, no problem. But this particular one, is it psychological, or is it because of what I'm doing, I'm making it harder?
It's neither. It's just like, because it's Saturday.
Yeah.
In other words,
Whatever.
you know what, it's really not,
Yeah.
you're making a thing of it.
Right.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
It could be because you got into a bad habit, it could be because you didn't get into any habit. It could be because of the way it's approached, it could be because because today is Saturday and you had a cauliflower. I mean, you know, whatever. But the point is that you just gotta be able to get up in the morning and sing it.
Yeah. Just sing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so do it one more time, da 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 da, and don't open your mouth so much.
Okay.
You are the witness.
And usually, sneaks in these very unimportant words that we don't think of as, you know, monumental. Like, but is there. All right, so fix that ooh.
Fix it, you gotta go.
Okay. Okay.
For you, Mama, you know, for you.
is usually a way that you sing when your throat doesn't know what it's doing. Okay? So we've all hooked into how do you take a voice if you only got it for a year or two and make it sound good? Well, teach you how to modify the vowels. But actually, a well-trained throat doesn't modify vowels. It learns how to sing the vowels. And if the composer puts a lousy vowel on a note, that's the composer's problem. So maybe you change the word, but you don't modify the vowel.
Okay.
You know, eh is perfectly fine to sing. You know, eh. You wrote eh.
Tenors love it.
Yeah.
Good work.
Good work.